So Trump then came strolling down Bitter Bitch Boulevard. Ooh-wee. So he done said that all you women who puts their baby daddies on child support can no longer claim the children's at the end of the year. Okay. Yeah, although some of the men, they deserve it. They deserve it. But I'm just saying though, it's a lot of bitter bitches out there who use child support as a weapon. What you think about that?
Okay, I'm just trying to see if I heard this correct. Now, Trump supposedly tweeted that if a father pays child support, if we put they behind on child support, when Trump get in office, he's saying that they will be able to claim the kids, not us. I don't like that, because in my situation, yeah, the daddy do pay child support every week, but that's it. It's not enough for everyday life, everyday living. I pay all my bills. Granted, I am the mom. So you mean to tell me if a man paying the bare minimum, let's say he paying $25 a week, let's say he paying whatever he paying a week. So you mean to tell me that's all he have to pay and he get to claim the kid? When we around here taking care of the kid 24/7, whether they sick, feeling good, aggravated, we do it all. We do it all. We raise them every day. Okay? Now, I don't like it. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like it. I ain't with it. I do not like it. If it's true now, if it's true.
So, DJ is trying to change the laws on child support, letting those parents who pay child support file the kids on taxes so they can get a tax return. Now, this could be a positive thing for those who are inconsistent with payments. However, what is this going to say for the parents who are behind, who are inconsistent with payments, who are only paying $25 a week, $50 a month, $100 a month? You mean to tell me those parents are going to be able to pay, I guess, start back paying child support and then filing the child to get a tax return? I just really would like to see the bill or how the regulations on this, because some of those mothers don't be getting a lot and they be looking for their return at the beginning of the year.
Ladies, listen up good and listen good. To all the men out there, this is some great news and I need you to hear. Donald Trump just tweeted, if you put your baby's father on child support, you cannot claim the child for income tax. Only the father can. Only the father can claim the child for income tax. You can't. Damn, boy. Trump, where you been at?
Oh my God, Trump just tweeted, if you put your baby daddy on child support, that the baby daddy now gets all of the income tax. What?
The Republican Party's agenda for women in this upcoming 2024 election is pretty clear. They want us married to men and having their children, and that is the only thing they want for us. They don't want us to be single mothers. They don't want us to be in same-sex relationships, and they definitely do not want us to be childless. If you don't believe me, this came directly from their playbook, The Mandate for Leadership, on Project 2025's website. Let's start here. On page 13, promise number 4 says that they want to secure our God-given individual right to enjoy the blessings of liberty. They say the pursuit of the good life is found primarily in family, marriage, and children. On page 451, one of their goals for the Department of Health and Human Services is to promote stable and flourishing married families. Families comprised of a married mother, father, and their children are the foundation of a well-ordered nation and healthy society. Unfortunately, family policies and programs under President Biden's Health and Human Services are fraught with agenda items focusing on, quote, LGBTQ equity, quote, subsidizing subsidizing single motherhood, disincentivizing work, and penalizing marriage. These policies should be repealed and replaced by policies that support the formation of a stable, married, nuclear family. Working fathers are essential to the well-being and development of their children, but the United States is experiencing a crisis of fatherlessness that is ruining our children's futures. Mind you, nowhere in here in this entire document are they addressing the root cause of fatherlessness at all. At no point have they held fathers accountable for this, but I digress. In the overwhelming number of cases, fathers insulate children from physical and sexual abuse, financial difficulty, or poverty, incarceration, teen pregnancy, poor educational outcomes, high school failure, and a host of behavioral and psychological problems. By contrast, homes with non-related boyfriends present are among the most dangerous place for a child to be. HHS should prioritize married father engagement in its messaging, health, and welfare policies. So they are pushing that women stay married to the fathers of their children. At no point are they addressing domestic violence or any type of violence against the children or the mother in any way. In this section, social science reports that assess the objective outcomes for children raised in homes aside from a heterosexual intact marriage are clear. All other family forms involve higher levels of instability. The average length of same-sex marriages is half that of heterosexual marriages. Financial stress or poverty, and poor behavioral, psychological, or educational outcomes. So basically they're saying that LGBTQ parents cannot raise their children properly. In their family agenda, they state that the Secretary of Health and Human Services should profoundly state that men and women are biological realities that are crucial to the advancement of life sciences and medical care, and that married men and women are the ideal natural family structure because all children have a right to be raised by the men and women who conceive them. So if you didn't conceive the child you're raising, the Republican Party doesn't believe that you should be allowed to be their parent. Their thoughts on child support. Congress established aid to families with dependent children in 1935 to assist single-parent families who were suffering financially from the loss of a breadwinning husband and father. Within 2 decades, however, the majority of families receiving aid were dependent because of paternal abandonment rather than death. Today, nearly a third of America's children live without a father present in the home, and a fourth of them are enrolled to receive child support. The glaring issue in child support enforcement today is a non-resident father's ability to provide full or consistent child support payments. The literature reflects this divide, as fathers have been categorized as deadbeat dads, then dead broke dads, and now disconnected dads who do not commit to the mother and child. Child support in the United States should strengthen marriage as the norm, restore broken homes, and encourage unmarried couples to commit to marriage. They also believe that home-based childcare should be prioritized over universal daycare. So, in other words, they think that the mother should stay home with the children and there should be a married father out working. I mean, we're literally going directly back to the 50s nuclear family. Concurrently, children who spend significant time in daycare experience higher rates of anxiety, depression, and neglect, as well as poor educational and developmental outcomes. Instead of providing universal daycare, funding should go to parents either to offset the cost of staying home with a child or to pay for familial in-home daycare. So, if you are married happily with children, this would be a really great situation for you where one of you could stay home with your kids and you could get paid to do so. It's most likely that the mother is going to be the one staying home with the children, because in a country where there is an inequity in pay between men and women, it is highly likely that the father is the higher income earner, and so mom will be staying home. And you cannot tell me, with how well articulated this document is, that they are not aware of that. They definitely are trying to get moms, women, to stay home with the children while dad goes out to work, just like we did in the fucking 50s. Now, it's worth noting that at no point do they discuss any plans for single mothers like me who may not have a family member who can stay home with the kids. What are we supposed to do? If you were thinking to yourself this whole time, they can't force any of us to do this, that would be a violation of our rights as American citizens, then you would be wrong. Because promise number one is they plan to restore the family as the centerpiece of American life and protect our children. It says here, it's time for policymakers to elevate family authority formation and cohesion as a top priority, and even use government power, including through the tax code, to restore the American family. Now, they've already talked about using child support as a means of restoring the American family. They've already talked about the American family being a marriage between a man and a woman, being a marriage between a man and a woman that includes children that are biologically related to that man and that woman. Where does that leave same-sex couples? Where does that leave single mothers? And where does that leave childless women? And if that wasn't enough for you, they double down here by saying, but the pro-family promises expressed in this book and central to the next conservative president's agenda must go much further than the traditional narrow definition of family issues. Every threat to family stability must be confronted. This resolve should color each of our policies. They're being pretty clear about this. They consider any family unit that is not the traditional nuclear family to be a threat to family stability, a threat. Their use of this word is intentional because if you consider something a threat, then you're justified in using hostile force against it in order to suppress the threat. You can guarantee that if this country elects a Republican president, they will use law enforcement and the court system to force us into compliance with their idea of what a family should look like. And if we refuse to comply, they will take our children from us. They will say that we are unfit to parent. They will say we're abusive and neglectful. They will say that we are failing to provide for them, and they will remove our children from our homes, put them into the foster care system, and then place them with other families, traumatizing them. And if you think that they're not capable of doing that, look at what they've been threatening parents of transgender children with simply for affirming their child's identity. They've called them abusers. They've said that they're groomers. They've said that they're unfit to parent, and they have threatened to remove their kids. People are fleeing Florida with their families in order to avoid this persecution. And if you're a woman who has decided not to have children, as is your right, you can expect to experience a heavy tax burden for not having kids. This is how they will force you into having children. So whatever money you think you're saving by not having kids, you're going to see on your tax bill. That's what's going to happen.
Now, I don't know if she's reading it wrong or maybe she's taking it the wrong way, but from my perspective, I don't see anything 100% wrong with this, okay? Like I said, I know this may seem upsetting to people who may be single moms or maybe single dads, like whoever the case may be, but it says bringing back nuclear families. I mean, she could still have a nuclear family. She could find a stepdaddy next week. She don't know. I think people should stop looking at that in that perspective. What they gonna do? Come destroy everybody? No. What is now, right? But if you do implement perspective changes on promoting healthy families, and I mean healthy families, not all that drama and scare tactics everybody like to use to stay single. But if you use healthy tactics promoting families like before, like you do with other communities, you should be able to do that with families as well. What's the problem? What's the problem? Now, I've been hearing about this Project 2025 thing for a long time. I've heard that Trump was supposed to be for it or whatever. Then I heard Trump say he was against it. But politicians lie anyway. And any laws that's going to be passed is going to be passed through Congress. I mean, we've seen that firsthand. Even now with the TikTok ban, and TikTok is back, by the way, that lasted, 30 minutes? So they punished us for a couple hours. It's all about money. And that's what everybody is failing to realize. No shade, but single households are not being successful to where people would want that in droves. If single mother homes were very popping like that to where they are supplying prominent people, nobody would be complaining. Let's be honest. And don't get it twisted. There are some amazing single moms out there. Moms who do a great job, but we be needing some help. Well, we as in when I was younger. You feel me? When I was in my single mom stage, it was ghetto. We are very nurturing type of people, right? Women are nurturing, so we cater to the needs of what our children want. Sometimes to the point where we could get frustrated. Let's not be funny. Let's be real about it. We can get frustrated and just be like, here, take it. Hell, I do it now. Girl, get out my face. Go on. And a lot of times my husband will step in and be like, no, this is how it's going to go. And they accept it. Parents, mothers and fathers parent differently. And when I'm talking about family and I'm talking about parents, I'm talking about legit parents. Just like when we're discussing the single moms in this aspect, we are talking about the hyenas. We are not talking about the women who are in situations that they're in and they've accepted it and they owning it and they doing what they doing. What I need from the women who are single mothers who do their big ones, I need y'all to separate yourself from these hyenas. They are not you. I'm talking about the ones who create the undesirables. I am talking about the ones who be twerking in front of their children and dancing. You see them all over this platform. Those women are not you. So when you hear stuff about bringing the nuclear family back, that should not offend you if you're doing what you need to do as a mother. But if you out here making your daughter lie about SA to hurt men, and out here twerking and teaching your daughters how to twerk, and out here just doing the most, that's the destruction of the families that these people on this paper are talking about. And y'all would agree with me that that stuff is trifling. The problem is, and it's not just single women, it's in women, it's a lot of women in general. Everybody likes to intermingle themselves. Like, I don't even know that's a word. I'm gonna just throw that out there. But y'all like to mix yourselves up like y'all these people. A lot of these things that these women do on these social media platforms, y'all wouldn't even be caught dead doing, but y'all support it, which makes it bad. That's just like somebody who is racist. They're not racist themselves, but they're not going to stop the next person from being racist because they mind their business. Do you see what I'm getting at? It's the same issue. Knock it off. She may very well be a very, 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 very amazing mom. Okay. She may have well bust her butt. And I feel like even in her talking about what about the moms? They don't have plans for daycare with the moms. I specifically thought she said that it said, or family members for the daycare. For the daycare, family members, which isn't a bad idea since we've been seeing how these daycares, a lot of these daycares been harming these children, which could have been prevented if they were with the family member or the mother. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think we should like stop altogether and just really take a step back and think. Do we go full throttle 100%? Hell no. No, we don't. We don't do that. But we do take a step back and say, okay, maybe they're correct on this aspect of it. Just don't take everything as a whole, because not everything gonna be 100% anyway. That's the way life works. Okay, as far as the LGBTQ community, they're going to be fine. You know why? Because they already have their own protection laws. So what you worried about it for, ma'am? Unless you about to get you your little young tender boo thing yourself, miss. You shouldn't be worried about that. They got their own laws of protection. They'll be fine. Ain't nobody touching them. So let's move on. I don't think this is a bad idea as far as promoting. If you can go to these schools and you can promote the things that you're promoting now, you should be able to promote the nuclear family, or what they consider a nuclear family, and create your own nuclear family and show your children what that may be under your mindset. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, let's hear from a lot of these other upset people.
Yeah, you know what's so funny about this child support topic? A lot of y'all ain't even on y'all kids' birth certificate. Y'all can't even put in for a social security card if the baby mama decides she ain't giving y'all none of the information. And what makes the topic even funnier, a lot of y'all behind in child support. Sir, what taxes you follow? Oh, okay.
I just want to know why all these men are so ecstatic over in arrears. I let him claim the kids because it was coming to me anyway, which helped him because he no longer in arrears. He no longer is even paying child support. But because he was claiming 2 of my children and getting his state, which he was okay with the state, and losing the federal, I was able to get my refund and his refund, but it also helped him get out of arrears. So you men is so ecstatic about, did y'all see what Donald Trump say? And they won't get the tax money, da 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 da. I just say it does take a village to raise children, and most men are not really paying a lot on child support. Some of you guys are, but most of them are not. So that $50, $75, $100, it's not a lot. Have you priced the shoes for a 10 or 11-year-old boy? Like, his shoes cost me anywhere from $100 or above. He take violin lessons. Violin lessons is $60 a week. So someone that's really not financially stable as far as employment and not making that much, the mother's not getting that much. And not only is the money not enough, a mother has to be the doctor, the lawyer, the counselor, everything. So I think a woman should be compensated more, or the father need to take more responsibility in the rearing of the child. So don't get excited about a tweet. It's not law. That's just Donald Trump talking. I love Donald Trump. Advent Trump supporter. But check the facts, and just because he says it doesn't make it law. But I think it should be something in there for men. But in this case, y'all not going to see it. It's not going to happen. So keep getting excited over talk. Have a good day.
Now I know the man that divorced this woman is happy as hell to be away from her. Did you hear what she said? She's sitting there bragging about everything that went back to her financially. Girl, what? And he was fine with it. It sounded like, to me, he just filed the taxes, let her have it. Yeah, and he gave me back all the arrears. He don't owe arrears anymore. But you sitting here promoting... You're a Trump supporter, right? And I don't do politics. Either way, I don't care. You got, at the end of the day, in my opinion, you have to depend on you. You know what I'm saying? Even if the world came crashing down, where's your armor at? You got to depend on you. And maybe a couple of people that come with you. But in my opinion, I know this man is glad to divorce her because she sounds like a whole mess and a half itself, a bag of pecans. She's sitting here complaining about child support and what was happening. And I got and even though he got the taxes, he still had to pay it back. But nothing about, I get it. He owed child support, but he was amazing. Father, no, you care about that money. I'm so glad that man divorced you. I know he happy. Just crazy as hell. She sound like a whole psychopath. And yes, you supported Trump. But, I don't agree with this one. No, I bet you don't. And you look like your time is up from producing. And thank God, ma'am, because we don't need no more of you. Because you batshit crazy, in my opinion. From what I gather from this video, it sounds like that man free and she's still single. And ain't nobody going to be checking for her because the demographic of men that she looking for, I highly doubt she even qualify for. But this is what I'm talking about these hyenas, these bitter hyenas spreading all this. Oh, he was giving me the money back anyway. You bragging about that? You do know your son is 9 times out of 10 an adult because you said he ain't paying child support. And he hearing his mama talk about this, bragging about some child support. Anyway,
Project 2025 doesn't just demonize single mothers. It wants to change policies to punish single moms and perhaps even remove children from single parent households. Don't take my word for it. Let me show you. Their top priority is promise number 1, restoring the family as the centerpiece of American life. And they specifically call out unmarried mothers as a reason that the American family is in crisis. 400 pages later, when you get to their section on the Department of Health and Human Services, you see that they want to rewrite what the definition of a family is to be comprised of a married mother and father and their children, saying that currently Health and Human Services is too focused on LGBTQ plus equity and subsidizing single motherhood, and saying that these policies should be repealed and replaced by policies that support the formation of stable married nuclear families. It's not enough to be heterosexual, by the way, because they also call out homes with non-related boyfriends as being one of the most dangerous places for a child. And they don't much like surrogacy either. In the context of emerging reproductive technologies, Health and Human Services should never place the desire of adults over the right of a child to be raised by the biological fathers and mothers who conceived them. Here's a horrifying paragraph. The Secretary of Health and Human Services anti-discrimination policy statements should never conflate sex with gender identity or sexual orientation. Rather, the Secretary should proudly state that men and women are biological realities that are crucial to the advancement of life sciences and medical care, and that married men and women are the ideal natural family structure because all children have a right to be raised by the men and women who conceived them. They also want to promote reunification as a part of child support, which is terrifying for domestic violence survivors. And they want to institute a healthy marriage and relationship education program in every state-level high school in America, with curriculum on healthy marriages. Oh, I wasn't kidding about child support either. Child support in the United States should strengthen marriage as the norm, restore broken homes, and encourage unmarried couples to commit to marriage. There's also a line in here that basically says that if you're the parent of a transgender child, that is child abuse. And if everything I've read hasn't sounded too bad, you haven't been reading between the lines, and this line here should clear it up. But the pro-family promises expressed in this book and central to the next conservative president's agenda must go much further than the traditional narrow definition of family issues. Every threat to family stability must be confronted. This resolve should color each of our policies. And any family that's not a heterosexual married family, that's a threat to them.
I had to dust off my camera because not Trump sitting up here talking about that for the women who put their baby daddy on child support, then that baby daddy sits here and claims all those taxes. I actually do not disagree with that. I don't. And I know some argument was, well, it needs to be split because some women don't have an income. Why do you have that baby if you don't have an income and the father does? I mean, maybe it's just because I don't have no kids, so I think about stuff like logically. Like, if me and my baby daddy if me and my man had a kid and we're not together and he's now my baby daddy and I don't have a job but he has a job, why am I not giving my child to that man that can financially support that baby until I get my stuff together? Like, is that hard? I don't know, y'all. Maybe I'm tripping.
But I know change gon'
All right, information has been verified. Trump tweeted, I guess, that if any baby out there got they baby daddy on child support, that girl cannot no longer file for taxes. And I thought it was like a dude will get the income tax after paying child support, like the taxes they take from that, they're gonna give back to the fathers. But no, he's trying to make it to where if a biddy put her man or her baby daddy on child support, she can't file taxes. I understand why women hate Trump now, bro. Hey, man, that's all y'all. That's all. You get child support money. Why you need tax money and child support money? How much bread the child really need? Or are you spending it on something else?
Okay, I want to talk about Project 2025, but this is about child support, visitation, and how their mandate for leadership and their proposed policies are going to affect families specifically. can't talk. Their first section that they talk about is just child support enforcement. They're very vague in this section. They go on and on about how it's unfair to fathers, how it pushes dads to become deadbeat dads, and then they become dead broke dads, and then they become disconnected dads, all because of the burden of child support. And the last sentence is really the meat and potatoes of that whole section, where it said where they state child support in the United States should strengthen marriage as the norm, restore broken homes, and encourage unmarried couples to commit to marriage. So it sounds like they're going to be using child support as a manipulative technique to encourage marriage, but only the way that they define marriage. They want to redefine marriage, obviously, just between a man and a woman, but they want all children to be placed in homes with a father and a mother. So let's continue on. They also want to introduce a child support tax credit. So this means that they're going to give a tax credit, looks like up to around $3,500 if you have more than one child that they are supporting. I don't know much about this. I'm trying to get my face out of there. Let's see. The key to this is that it empowers fathers with their own resources and money rather than creating another government assistance program or a fully refundable credit. I don't know. It's very vague. I don't know really what they say, how they're going to fund it. It says says a child support tax credit would use the low income non-resident parents' own earned income and history of employment to assist them further in the task of caring for their children. Maybe it's trying to give them a bit of financial relief. Okay. So here's the next section, visitation. This one is a bit concerning. They basically want to connect visitation to child support. So if right now that doesn't occur in any state, you do not, visitation is completely separate issue from child support. They shouldn't be linked. And there's a myriad of reasons why, but it has a lot to do with how the family court wants to oversee, hopefully in a good way. I know that there's been a lot of bad instances on judges interfering with visitation issues, but if you have a father who's specifically on a drug rehab program, for instance, they might not have visitation rights until they have to prove that they're sober, or visitation is tied towards like a remediation program. Anyways, they want to tie visitation specifically to payment. So paying gives you the right to see your child. So it becomes very transactional. And I think that's what the family court has been trying to, they don't want to support that, but I guess they said in Texas, the last sentence under child visitation section is that Texas has now combined it. No surprise there. They're leading the way on all kinds of taking us backwards in time for family issues. Okay, so let's see the next. Okay, child support payment and interactive smartphone application. I think that what they're trying to do here is they're marketing it as they want it to be easier to pay child support, but also it looks like they want to track how that child support is actually used, which that is just inappropriate on so many levels. But anybody who is a payer or receiver, you know what that means. Then let's see, the next section is healthy marriage and relationship education programs. They want to educate our high school students on what the definition of a healthy marriage is. They want to encourage them to enter into healthy marriages. They're going to probably discourage any other kind of family structure. So hidden between the lines is discrimination against any kind of mom, dad, maybe even a poly structure. Anyways, and they are only going to focus on abstinence as family planning. So they're going to completely ignore contraceptives. It's not stated, but so then they go and say that they're going to utilize the funding to provide state level high school education. Okay. They're going to allow the funding for that program is going to specifically come from child welfare. So for foster care and adoption. And they're already chronically underfunded, especially in the states near me. Okay, it looks like the next section goes on to say that they are going to require this education on what a healthy family is and family planning to be at any clinic under Title X. So is that Planned Parenthood? Okay. And then they're going to assure. So I'm guessing that their metrics, they don't like. So the next section is kind of funny. Abstinence education has not shown to be effective in reducing unplanned pregnancies, nor has the education of what they deem to be the only proper family structure. That kind of education has not moved into the positive to show that it is better for our society, as opposed to teaching children about actual sex, all the different types of relationships out there, and contraceptive use. So what they want to do is they want to change how that data is acquired, and maybe they'll get different results. I don't know. This next section is about the grant recipients for the education program on families, specifically faith-based grant recipients. They want to say that they are exempt from violating discrimination, because they will be discriminating against the LGBTQ community. And they go on to say, word for word, for the sake of child well-being, programs should affirm that children require and deserve both the love and nurturing of a mother and the play and protection of a father. Despite recent congressional bills like the Respect for Marriage Act that redefine marriage to be the union between any two individuals, HMRE program grants should be available to faith-based recipients who affirm that marriage is between not just any two adults, but one man and one unrelated woman. Okay. Let's see. They go on to say they want to implement a pro-fatherhood messaging campaign. With nearly 41% of children born without a married father in the home and nearly 69% among Black Americans, the fatherhood problem is clear. Similar to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' 2022 fatherhood bill, HMRF funds should be used to support national messaging campaigns that affirm the role fathers play.
Again, the fear mongering, the fear tactics, he's gonna make it, he gonna take all the single mothers and burn them to the stake. Like, girl, stop. And I agree. Kids do deserve both parents. Is that always a possible thing? Absolutely not. Because if it was, it would be happening. Like, I don't understand what's going on. And like I said, I highly doubt Project 2025, all that mess, all that stuff will be going down. Trump gonna be in here 4 years and he gonna be gone. And ain't nothing gonna be done. And what's gonna happen is what's gonna happen. That's just my take on the whole situation. It didn't all the fear mongering that they gathered and said the time he was in 4 years, he was doing a decent presidency up until COVID. When COVID hit, that's when things start getting different. But even then, he did what he needed to do. So I don't care. I think it's just, Republicans bad guys, Democrats bad guys. In my opinion, neither parties have done anything that I requested. So I don't care. Okay, but that's just my opinion on that. I feel like it's a lot more fear mongering, a lot of single women wanting to keep other women single instead of actually educating. You being a single mom anyway gives you an opportunity to educate your children to do things different from what you have done. I always thought that was a goal in general, including being parents altogether. Fathers and mothers included are always the ones to say, you know what, I don't want my kids having to do this or experience that because this is what happened with me, and I feel like I could guide them in a different path. When you want your children not to be single mothers or single fathers or baby mamas and baby daddies, when you like them to have a family, whether it be straight or whatever preference they like to be, wouldn't you want that for your children? I would think so. So instead of complaining about the current problem now, which is high incarceration rates and a lot of ghetto-ness and unaliving out here, and a lot of those statistics you can look up yourself and see where that comes from. That comes from low impoverished areas. And it comes from a lot of single mother homes, which we already know was designed by the welfare people, which was not cool because before anybody come in the comments, white people got welfare before we did, except for they was allowed to keep the fathers in the homes. Okay, this time it wasn't. So a lot of women decided to keep the men out so they could keep their checks. They had to survive some way, somehow, right? You know, it's a lot of variables to this, but it does not change the fact that women who have daughters, do y'all really want your daughters to be single mothers like y'all? Y'all experienced that yourselves. Y'all want that for your daughters? Or do you want your sons dealing with a crazy baby mama? Like, come on now. Let's be realistic about it. Let's stop trying to say, oh my God, he did. Now, for the fathers who ain't nothing, I doubt they'll get a penny anyway. And you know, everything ain't black and white. They got to take the laws into effect and do what they need to do with the paper. And then women just really have to decide, is it worth even allowing him to pay the little child support that he pay? Or should I just move on? I feel like the whole point of this is these bitter hyenas can no longer use child support as a weapon or as a vacation. Mainly but I think they said it was geared toward low income homes. So I think the people with more money is going to be a little different, which I'm not surprised of. But y'all pay attention. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments.
We in a no hyena zone. Anti-hyena zone. Race my